Alrighty, well, good evening, everybody. As always, I am your beautiful host, Billy Reed, coming at you live once again from the scenic Indiana University Southeast University Center, just down the hall from the campus. Please, here for Let's Talk Dinosaurs, episode 11. Technically the second episode of season 2, but, all you Let's Talk Dinosaurs lore enthusiasts, just map out the timeline however you will. And as always, I am joined by these couple of Cajun battered brook trouts. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Charlie. That's offensive to Cajuns. Quiet already. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's talk dinosaurs.
Charlie's gone full SJW.
Listen.
Oh my god.
But anyway, today we have a good show lined up for you today, because today is going to be the first of a 2-part series, and we're gonna open up with the first part today. You see, let's get into the main thick of it here tonight. So anyway. So dinosaurs were around for a very long time. 3 main periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. The Jurassic is often regarded as the golden age of dinosaurs, because that's when dinosaurs really diversified and spread out to new lands and everything. But the thing is, after the Jurassic, there was a bit of an imbalance. A lot of the families of dinosaurs that were really dominant during the Jurassic were all of a sudden fading away during the Cretaceous. Like, during the Jurassic, the main ones were the sauropods and the allosaurs, who we talked about before. The sauropods stuck around during the Cretaceous, but only one family of them, being the titanosaurs, survived, and they were nowhere near as widespread as they were during the Jurassic. The allosaurs clung on for dear life during the early Cretaceous, but as time went on, they slowly started to die off too. So the 2 main groups that really just dominated the world during the Cretaceous period would be the herbivorous ceratopsians and the meat-eating tyrannosaurs. These 2, they started from the bottom, now they're here. That's still cool, right?
No.
Okay.
That's 5 years old. Can you not?
But anyway, yeah, that song wasn't cool when it was cool.
And they start putting that on there now.
Wasn't Drake on like Degrassi or something like that?
Yeah, that's how he started.
That's even sad.
On Degrassi. Think about it this way. Look, only real ones know Ariana Grande as Cat Valentine on Victorious.
Yeah.
That was back when she was a lot paler and had red hair.
True.
I heard that was rough on her hair. She died every day. I was horrible for her. That's what I heard.
Huh?
She had to dye her hair every episode.
Oh. I thought you said she died every day.
She died every episode.
What is this the...
Groundhog's Day.
No, what's that movie? Oh, that one with Tom Cruise. Edge of Tomorrow, but with Ariana Grande.
Live, Die, Repeat. He has 10 different titles.
Yeah, the comic it was based on was called something else. Then the movie was called Edge of Tomorrow. Then when it came out on DVD, they changed it to Live, Die, Repeat. So
ridiculous.
It's a mess of a movie.
But anyway, so the Cretaceous period. So the Tyrannosaurs and the ceratopsians started out as little tiny bottom feeders in the early Cretaceous. But by the end of Cretaceous, these 2 groups ruled the world. And the 2 most well-known creatures from these families are the T-Rex and the Triceratops. And we've talked about them enough. See, they come from a big family, okay? They're like the overachiever cousins that you keep getting compared to at every single family gathering. Like, boy, why can't you be more like Cousin Boofus down in Baxter Craxton, Illinois? He done went out there and built him a fence.
It's too close to home.
All right, Baxter Craxton, that's not even a word, Charlie. That's not even a real place.
The idea of it. Everyone has a Baxter Craxton. Illinois, somewhere.
And an uncle and a cousin Boofus.
Right?
Uncle and a cousin Boofus. Mama was only 13 when she married Uncle Lester. I tell you what.
Oh gosh.
I'm going to hell for that. But anyway,
I'll meet you there.
Anyway, so T-Rex and Triceratops are the overachiever cousins that all the other relatives of theirs get compared to in every single family gathering for their entire lives.
All right.
So today and next week, we're going to be highlighting some other exemplary specimens from the Tyrannosaur and Ceratopsian families. Now, since you always have to save the best for last, we have to start off here with the the lovable spiky rapscallions themselves,
Ooh.
the ceratopsians. So before we get into it, let's just set a loose definition for ceratopsians here. So ceratopsians were plant-eating dinosaurs that all had big bird-like beaks for mouths. They all had giant frills that protected their necks, and most of them had horns. Now, ceratopsians actually started out with a dinosaur that I didn't put here on the list, but I want to talk about it really quick because Charlie brought it to my attention before the show. There was a little guy called Psittacosaurus, who was like the precursor for all ceratopsians. He was just a little thing, but the thing is that he didn't walk on 4 legs, he walked on 2 legs, and while he had a big parrot head, he didn't really... That's actually what the name means, is parrot head lizard. So
I love that. That's a good name.
Back when Dr. Mason's dinosaur class, he used to joke around all the time, said it was a Jimmy Buffett dinosaur. But anyway, so yeah, that was the little guy that started the ceratopsians. Now, as the big sauropods and the stegosaurs from the Jurassic period started to die out, there was an open position, if you will, for the dominant herbivores on the planet, which is when the ceratopsians... they started to get a little bit bigger, and that little Psittacosaurus, well, let's just say he got busy, because there's a lot of ceratopsians to talk about here.
All
Kind of like a
right.
rocky
Man,
walkout.
Stackosaurus had an active social life, let me tell you. A couple different baby mamas. But,
All right.
He had like
Getting
a
that
rocky
gossip in.
workout montage and got big.
yeah, like that one episode of SpongeBob where they start a rock band and Squidward's just like, I gotta get in shape first.
Yes. It was like a 30-second montage.
By the end of it, Squidward is just so ripped.
I know.
But anyway, we got a lot to talk about. We got 9 ceratopsians to cover.
We're running
here.
out of time.
Should we do it?
We're 12 minutes
Maybe.
in. We can handle this.
I'm stressing
So
out.
our first ceratopsian we want to talk about is the Protoceratops. Now, Protoceratops is a little guy. This was one of the earliest ceratopsians from the early Cretaceous period. The name means first horned face, so pretty on the nose, but...
Not creative. 0 points
a
for
prototype.
creativity.
But anyway, it was just a little guy from out in the deserts of China and Mongolia, only about the size of a sheep. So this thing is only about 6 feet long and 2 feet tall.
So cute. I don't know why imagining this in a sheep. I don't know. That was really cute to me.
Like
Like
a-
them,
like
like playing
This,
together.
oh, it's been like this, like much like sheep fur all over it.
Just imagine like an old school like biblical shepherd out there with
Yeah.
a crook just herding a bunch of
Oh my God.
Protoceratops.
Dinosaurs.
That's exactly what I thought of. You read my mind, Billy. You absolutely read my mind.
Oh man. So anyway, Protoceratops was a little guy, and as an early ceratopsian, didn't really have any horns. It just had a little bumpy thing on its nose, which could have served for some defense because you see, this thing shared an environment with velociraptors. And we know based on fossil evidence that Protoceratops and velociraptors did not see eye to eye. They were about the same size. And since Protoceratops was pretty small too, these were one of the only dinosaurs that velociraptors could have hunted by themselves and not in a pack. So, but I mean, to counter, these things traveled in herds too. We know that based on multiple skeletons of them found within a certain vicinity. Out in the desert, fossils preserve really well. So we found a lot of skeletons of Protoceratops pretty close to each other. But luckily, if a velociraptor came up to it, it was pretty well equipped to take care of this thing. You see, its skull was pretty big for a dinosaur that small. Its skull makes up about 1/3 of its body. So for this little guy right here, big ol' head, pretty scary. You know, you guys are quiet after I called you out. Why?
Wasn't he one of the dinosaurs in like the fighting dinosaur formation?
Yeah, that's what
I know
yeah.
that. That's a fact right there.
What?
The
It's
fighting dinosaurs. You
It's
see,
a
that was
famous fossil formation, Kristen.
Oh,
you should know this.
I'm sorry.
No, it was a fighting Protoceratops and a Velociraptor that died fighting each other. That's
Oh,
quite the way to
I
go.
do. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I think we briefly
I
talked
remember.
about
Let me
that in
apologize,
one
it's okay.
episode.
I'm so sorry.
I forgive you.
Thank
But
you.
anyway, even though Protoceratops doesn't have any horns, it's got dozens upon dozens of teeth in its mouth that are meant to grind up plants, but you could imagine they could double as a pretty effective weapon in a pinch. Not to mention that beak is pretty sharp, and any velociraptor that got anything stuck in there would not have a very good day.
True.
The velociraptor in the fighting dinosaurs formation. it
Finding
had its-
dinosaurs?
Finding dinosaurs.
Finding dinosaurs. It's like a little
They were-
magnifying
they-
glass. Where's he at, guys?
They died doing the crossword, the word search. It's first day of school, you know, they had to, it was either icebreakers or they had to fill out a word search.
I'd rather do the
Someone-
word search.
So,
Icebergers are the worst.
Did you say icebergers?
Icebergs are the worst. As the Titanic.
And also, a little known fact about the Protoceratops is that despite living in the desert, its diet consisted of almost exclusively snow.
Would have believed you for a second if not for Charlie's wheeze? Question mark?
Snow has no nutritional value besides the water. Kirsten, what major are you?
Don't talk to me like that, first of all.
Listen, what major are you so I know I can consult the department so I can kick you out for not knowing these things?
It's a good source of hydration because it's
No, it's
frozen
not. You should never eat water if you're cold because it lowers your body temperature
not
and
if you're
induces hypothermia
cold.
faster.
not if you're cold. What if you just like got done with a jog and you're like, oh man, like I'm really
Eat
thirsty.
the snow off the ground instead of going to a water fountain.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Billy.
No, that was good. That was
Are
good.
you ready to continue now?
So anyway, in addition to having a pretty sharp beak that would mess up any raptor that came its way, its frill on the back of its head also protected its neck. This is a constant that's seen in pretty much every species of ceratopsian going forward. It proved to be a pretty effective tool because all it would have to do is put its head up and all of a sudden its neck is protected from any feisty raptors and that were getting their ideas. Bunch of hooligans, I tell you what.
It kind of looks like a half of a Pringle chip.
What?
Like
What?
like you cut a Pringle chip
That's
in
only
half.
that's only looking at it from the side.
That's not the
I
full
know.
animal.
I know. I didn't mean the whole animal. I
You
meant
just
the
turn
frill.
sideways. You can't see it's hidden.
I meant that the frill looked like a Pringle chip.
Like its tail.
Like that's a
looks
skunk tail. But
looks
Billy
more like-
told me before we aired that was a artist rendition and that I should shut my mouth. And we don't
I didn't
talk
say
about
you
that.
should shut your mouth. I said that's just probably not what it actually looked like because
Well, why did
But
they do it like
it's
that?
also
because
what it
it's
could look like.
it's just meant to make it look cool, okay? Like for all we know, this thing could have been tie-dye colored and had a mohawk.
I hope so.
Okay?
Something beautiful right there.
Yeah,
And
that
heck,
would be amazing.
This little portrait here that I have on our outline, this is probably very inaccurate because I don't see how an animal that lives in the desert having a zebra pattern on its tail would
I don't
be
understand.
very
Like I don't know the use for it. Like
advantageous.
it's
Was it the
weirded
desert
me
back then,
out.
though?
It
Okay, it was? Alright.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway,
Classification gets you.
Protoceratops. Lovely little stinker. But anyway, moving on. Our next ceratopsian here. Finally, we're getting into the bigger ones.
All right.
We have the Styracosaurus. Now, this is a ceratopsian that most people know, even if they don't know that they know it. This thing only has one horn on its nose and a bunch of horns around its frill for extra defense. So if you saw a picture of this thing, you'd probably know it if you saw it.
It's got a good design. Like
anyway.
it looks pretty mean. I'd be intimidated if I saw that.
It's all bark, no bite,
Maybe.
I think. A hippo could take it out.
Billy will
A
tell us in a
hippo?
second.
I don't know. I can't think of a mean... I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, the name Styracosaurus means spiked lizard. So
Ooh.
It's better than the last one.
it's
On the
not
point.
bad. I mean, look, these ceratopsian names are all
I'm
pretty
just
on the
looking for like
nose.
something that wows me, you know?
Like spiked Godzilla lizard.
We already talked about the Godzilla lizard on our one episode that was really bad.
It wasn't
Which
that
one?
bad.
That was the one where Kirsten said the no-no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was pretty bad then, actually.
Yeah, that was. We got a warning because of that.
You remind me every show. Oh my god.
We never forget.
But anyway,
Obviously.
so the Styracosaurus was a pretty big ceratopsian, coming in at about 20 feet long and weighing 3 tons. So a lot bigger than Protoceratops. So anyway, this thing is often characterized by its big spiky frill on its neck. Lots of ceratopsians have some real distinct patterns on their frill in terms of horns and stuff. But Styracosaurus is a little bit overkill. Most people think that this was used for extra defense. If a predator was going to bite at it from below or come from behind, it would have a pretty hard time getting a bite on that frill because it's all spiky like that. But an interesting thing, a lot of scientists believe that because there have been slight variations in the patterns of the horns on a lot of frills we see in skulls of Styracosaurus, some believe that the horns could have been used for the species to tell individuals apart. Because just about all ceratopsians were herd creatures. They all lived in big groups. And we see that a lot of times today. Like, zebras, as a matter of fact, all have different patterns of stripes to help them tell each other apart. So this could have been something like that, where it was just used to be like, oh, hey, it's Jim.
Or like deer with antlers, kind of like that.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like that,
Okay. Makes sense.
But I guess we'll never know. But those are just a couple of proposed explanations for the good old Styracosaurus.
It looks awesome. Like
it does look pretty cool.
It's a very childish thing to say. It's just like, it looks awesome. But
I mean,
it looks pretty awesome.
It does look pretty cool. It does. Like, I wish I was as cool as a Styracosaurus.
Same. I really do too. I wish. And also, the practicality of those horns. It's like a crown. That's what I love about it.
It's like a king,
Yeah.
but like...
Yeah.
Now, the skull having the 2 holes in the head, do you think that would like, affect it at all, you think?
Oh,
Or,
yeah,
like-
we're going to talk about that in a
never
little
mind.
bit.
It's all good. I'm gonna
All right.
backtrack a little bit there.
But anyway, we got more Styracosaurus to talk about, so
Oh.
don't flip ahead just yet.
Okay, sorry.
But anyway, the Styracosaurus, unlike other ceratopsians, only had one big horn on the end of its nose. It was about 3 feet long, and that one was pretty obviously used for defense. That horn would ruin any Tyrannosaur's day if it decided it wanted to eat it. So
You think it ever like
good for,
flipped?
Just have to
good
look
for
up.
it.
Flipped their.
What?
Do you think they ever like flip something like over them?
What would they flip over, like a car?
No, like an animal that's trying.
Oh,
to
like
hurt
a
them.
bull up and picks up and throws it
Yeah,
over, like
yeah, like that.
a goring.
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
maybe. If
I mean,
they
I wasn't
got
there.
bored, I don't know.
Yeah, totally. I know exactly what we're talking about.
I'd imagine it probably did, like
Just the way that it
yeets
it's
them
just-
across the desert.
It's poised so well, so I feel like it would be the person that was, or not the person. It's not a person.
I like to think the Styracosaurus was a pacifist myself.
But
Not
like
with those
when it
horns.
calls for it, like go all out, like that kind of thing.
Like Ferdinand, but like he ain't messing around.
Hey, you know who voiced Ferdinand?
John Cena.
Yep. Good old John Cena.
Good old
So,
Love him.
John Cena.
little did you know
So
that the
wholesome.
Styracosaurus was the foremost buyer of jean shorts in the Cretaceous period.
I can see it. I see it.
I can't see it.
But anyway,
Damn.
so moving on. Our next ceratopsian here. Yes, my personal favorite ceratopsian.
Okay.
The Pachyrhinosaurus.
Right.
This is a dinosaur whose name means the thick-nosed lizard.
I mean, it's fitting.
Oh, hey, by the way,
observation.
I feel like it's very
I
like
got a tweet here that I want to highlight. It comes
Okay.
from our good pal Angus on Twitter.
Angus!
And we were debating what the Protoceratops ate, because you said it ate snow, because that makes sense. And he says the Protoceratops most likely fed on Nickelback's career before
Ooh.
Nickelback even existed.
Oh.
That's how bad Nickelback is. Their badness just transcends geological
can't
eras.
take
This
it
is just a
anymore.
platform for Billy
leave them alone.
to.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Nickelback killed the dinosaurs, confirmed.
Charlie's gonna cry.
Charlie, you know what Nickelback
make
did
it,
to
that's
me,
the one
okay?
I
There's no
Couldn't
coming
make
back
it,
from
poor
that.
man stealing.
Are you tired of living like a blind man?
This is how you remind. Anyway, Pachyrhinosaurus.
So Pachyrhinosaurus, the thick-nosed lizard.
I feel like its voice be like very stuff like, guys, listen up. I don't know, like kind of like that. I don't know.
It'd be deeper though.
Yeah, but a lot deeper though. It's
Yeah.
It was really annoying. Nobody liked hanging out with the Pachyrhinosaurus.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible
Just so
allergies.
It looks like it's paranoid, and like it's like.
Horrible allergies, sneezed
All the
everywhere.
time.
Like
a
this
meerkat.
is the jerk who you hand him your bucket of popcorn at the movie theater and he sneezes into it and hands it back.
that guy. Yeah.
Oh, that guy. Man, that just made me hurt.
Kirsten's of dinosaurs.
What?
What?
There's some real tension here in the here in Horizon Radio tonight.
Sorry.
I don't, guys. Save this if we ever do a third fight night.
Third?
I mean, we've done a couple of
Oh,
like
there's gonna be a third.
we've
of
done a
course.
couple.
15th.
We've done a couple of mini fight nights here and there. I don't know if those. Well,
Like last
okay,
week at a mini one.
official fight night 2, which we're not doing because it's not on. I couldn't think of any more fights to do. So
Totally. We should do like Ice Age animals versus dinosaurs.
Ooh.
not a bad idea.
Oh.
That'd be pretty cool. Like
Ooh.
Velociraptor versus a saber-tooth tiger.
Tweet at
Oh,
us
the
if you
tiger
think.
would mop the floor with the poor little thing.
Or like a Utah
Maybe
raptor.
a bigger raptor. Yes, that's not a bad idea. I like that one.
Give
us a
Charlie,
shout if you
Charlie,
think we
you get a
should.
promotion.
I think there's like a book when I was a kid that did that. I think I just ripped it off, but like
Ice Age animals versus dinosaurs. I like that.
a pretty
one.
good-
Sid the
yeah.
Sloth
Bad
versus something useless. So it's equal playing field.
Versus the Spinosaurus. But anyway,
Oh, wow.
so Pachyrhinosaurus was a pretty big ceratopsian. It was 30 feet long and weighed about 4 tons.
It's a big boy.
So very big, about as big as Triceratops, but it didn't weigh as much.
Okay.
Now, it has a very distinctive skull. It only has a couple of horns up on the top of the frill, which most scientists believe were used more for, like, display. You know, got to look sexy for those lady Pachyrhinosauruses, or the dude Pachyrhinosaurus. There's a lot of Pachyrhinosauruses out there, you know.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, it didn't have any horns on its nose, though. It just had this giant, big, flat, thick bone thing on its nose, which they believe it used to more.
battering?
Yeah, exactly. More of a battering ram, just to run into things.
No, just like a boom.
So it didn't
love
really
that.
stab things. It just kind of like ran into him like that, which I mean,
So far, this is my favorite, just because
Yeah,
of the
I
battering ram.
Actually,
love-
sneezes, knocks his buddy 10 feet back.
Yeah. Good point, Charlie.
Right?
but anyway, so yeah, Pachyrhinosaurus, very scary creature. I definitely would not want to get rammed by this thing.
Yeah, no
But
thanks.
anyway, interesting thing about Pachyrhinosaurus' fossils is that unlike other dinosaurs, it's been found in more northern areas like Canada and Alaska out near the Yukon Territory. And we believe that Pachyrhinosaurus would have been adapted to living in colder climates because of this. Now, this picture I have here is only an artist's rendition, but okay,
Keep talking, we're good.
it's a typo. Okay, I get it.
I don't even know what the original's supposed to say.
It's
So I'm
supposed
just
to say
gonna,
rare. It's supposed to
okay.
say rare.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm only human.
I'm sorry.
I told you.
I didn't know.
I don't even
was
remember when
was-
you could have just asked me. You know.
But you were talking. So
I
was
can
just
see you
consulting
guys.
Charlie.
There's no sense talking about me behind my back.
But
I'm
they
sorry.
can't see us.
I'm sitting right across the table from you. This is mutiny. I won't stand for this.
Traitor!
So anyway, the Pachyrhinosaurus more than likely lived in colder environments than dinosaurs that lived closer to where we live down here. So this picture right here is only an artist's rendition, but a lot of people believe that maybe it had kind of a little coating of feathers on it to keep it warm.
Okay,
So-
like down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Like a
Pachyrhinosaurus
fluffy
might have
dinosaur.
been a big fluffy boy.
Oh, I love that.
Harmless.
But anyway, an interesting
Completely.
thing about it is that the so let's just skip over this typo thing and then we'll forget it ever happened.
They quite are.
But anyway, so the northern territories during the Mesozoic, which is the age of the dinosaurs, were one of the few areas where crocodiles and turtles were actually pretty rare. There weren't a lot of them around. There were a few here and there, but that's what gives us an idea of the fact that Pachyrhinosaurus probably lived in a colder environment because there weren't a lot of crocodiles and turtles, which something that hasn't really changed over the eons is that they like it a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Pachyrhinosaurus living out there in the Yukon Territory with Yukon Cornelius and
I mean, these-
Santa Claus.
Is it,
Connect.
is it
Pachyrhinosaurus.
Pachyrhinosaurus? Okay. They kind of like got a good membo.
Membo.
Memo.
Membo.
Because they're like,
Membo.
they're like,
What?
they're not near a bunch of predators like the other ones are.
Oh, yeah, they are. There were tyrannosaurs in the Yukon.
Like
But, like-
Albertosaurus wasn't he up there?
Albertosaurus, Gorgosaurus, Displetus. We got a lot of stuff to talk about next
And
week,
saber
too.
tigers.
What?
Charlie.
You don't know that.
No, there weren't.
It's okay,
Saber
Charlie.
squirrels?
Saber. Charlie,
you're right.
I'm revoking your promotion.
Wait, I had a promotion in line?
Yeah,
Yes.
you continued talking after he told you you had a promotion. He's like, you have a promotion. And you were like, the thing.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
told you you had a promotion because you had a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
We're going to talk about Ice Age mammals versus dinosaurs now.
Lost it.
I mean, we're still doing that episode, which we're going to credit you for the idea because it's a good idea.
Oh, nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Stop it.
Even though Charlie will be here for it, but we'll credit him. We'll give him a consolation prize,
But at least-
gold star.
Little
Charlie,
pat on the back.
Not
Charlie
anything
of the
else.
week.
Good job, man.
Charlie
But
of the
anyway,
week.
so moving on here, our next ceratopsian. I just love this name, the Cosmoceratops. Now, Cosmoceratops was very, very. Cosmoceratops was very, very stupid. It was married to Wanda Ceratops. You know,
Oh, no.
lived in a fishbowl, and
Don't you dare attack Cosmo like that.
Cosmo's not smart.
He's a
has the
sweetheart.
He sunk Atlantis 9 times.
You don't know Atlantis didn't deserve it.
So yeah, Cosmoceratops had a secret life that you know nothing about. But anyway,
He was a dinosaur in his free time.
so Cosmoceratops, its name means ornate horned face. So
Not that. What is that?
like my ad voice.
I thought you were just turning into a guinea pig or something.
Yeah, people mistake it for
what
that.
Is it? Look,
Like-
what is it, Karen? Is Timmy down the well? What's going on?
Is Matt stuck in a well?
We'll never know.
Yeah, well, anyway. So, Cosmoceratops is a smaller species of ceratopsian, only about 13 feet long and weighing about 2 tons. So, it's not as big as not quite as big as the Pachyrhinosaurus or the others on here, but it's, big enough. I certainly wouldn't want to go near it, but the weird thing is that its frill is very distinctive compared to other ceratopsians.
It's got a lot of little hooks on it.
Well, you see, the weird thing is that all the horns on its frill face downward.
It's very pretty.
They couldn't really be used for fighting, per se, or defense, because they don't really stick upward like Styracosaurus. Same goes for its horns, too. You see, this thing's horns actually face outward, believe it or not, as opposed to the normal ceratopsians, where their horns kind of go upwards to stab predators that are coming in. Its horns face out to the side, and the horn on its nose is actually flat and rectangular.
I wonder if it's actually blue, because if it was actually blue, no wonder why it went extinct, because that thing is blinding in the forest. I feel like.
No, it probably wasn't. As I've said 30 million
I'm just
times.
saying.
Artist rendition.
It's actually aquatic. Aquatic is blue.
I'm just saying, these artists need to get it together, because they're
It
painting.
just looks good.
It looks cool.
It just looks cool.
It's not logical.
Like,
I'm about to say
Says the person who thought dinosaurs
Shut up!
eat snow.
Shut your mouth.
says the person who thought Stegosaurus plates were to carry their babies.
Wait, that was you?
Yeah.
Why does everyone attack me like this?
Because you attack us like this.
Yeah.
No.
You're the one who was about to burn me at the stake because I made a typo.
No, that's not true. I didn't say it. You're the one who.
Yeah,
you were like,
Kirsten.
Yeah, you were just like, hey Charlie, let's talk about Billy behind his back, and then Charlie was just like we always do.
No, it wasn't what I was trying to do at all. I was just confused. I
But
didn't know what to
anyway,
do.
because Cosmoceratops's frill and its
Oh, here we
horns
go.
were a little weird, most scientists think they were just for display purposes and didn't really have any sort of defense capabilities
like
the
thrash
other
that with maybe, like-
ceratopsians.
Maybe like whip his head
Well,
back
and the weird
forth.
thing is that the way, like, these things couldn't have even
metal
butted
band.
heads with each other. Like, we believe other ceratopsians did that because of lesions we found on their faces that were distinctly caused by horns and stuff and not by teeth marks.
Mm-hmm.
So we think other ceratopsians would have, butted heads like modern day buffalo or deer, but this thing wouldn't have even been able to do that because of the weird way its horns are. So Cosmoceratops is truly an anomaly. But as we'll learn later,
Had a secret
there
weapon.
are,
It's mysterious. It's magical.
Is that from something or like?
No. No.
well, Cosmoceratops also had an IQ of 8, had a very overbearing mother, Mama Cosmoceratops. And
I'm like kind of triggered, but like
because
kind of
the-
enjoying this bit.
Because of Cosmoceratops being such an idiot, Fairy World outlawed
my
the birth of
gosh.
any other baby dinosaurs.
Oh.
Look, listen, I was an only child with no friends, okay? I will sit here and make all the obscure cartoon references you want.
It's not even an obscure cartoon
you want me
reference.
to, you want me to recite an episode of Codename Kids Next Door? I will do it right now.
That's not obscure either.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't know about that
Yeah,
show.
well, cursed Gen Zs, of course, but like, hey.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
Do you know what that is?
Kirsten's,
What?
Kirsten's
Kid Next Door?
No, Kirsten's just like, oh my god, old cartoon? You mean like Adventure Time?
That's not true.
Phineas and Ferb.
I didn't like that show.
Curse you, Kirsten the Platypus!
Mom, Kirsten hates Phineas and Ferb.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. Are we still on this dinosaur?
No.
No.
Okay.
We moved on.
Get in the moment.
I'm just making sure, because last time you yelled at us, so I don't want to be yelled at again.
So anyway, our next ceratopsian here. This one's a favorite of mine. I love this name.
a dumb name.
The Chasmosaurus.
I hate it.
Close
What's
cousin
wrong
to
with
Cosmosaurus.
Chasmosaurus?
Opening lizard.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
What's it
Its
opening?
name means opening lizard, you see. And Chasmosaurus was another small ceratopsian, only about 15 feet long and 2 tons. So about the same size as
That's really
Cosmoceratops. Well, as far as ceratopsians,
Minuscule.
as far as ceratopsians go, okay, because you have the Triceratops, which is this 36
I make
foot
one comment
long-
and he starts yelling
It's
at me.
just two protoceratops stuck on top of each other in a trench coat.
Exactly, the Ninja Turtle approach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Cowabunga.
All right. I got got it.
But anyway, Chasmosaurus got its name because you see, for a dinosaur with such a small body, its head is pretty big. It's got about an 8-foot skull. So that's pretty large, pretty heavy for this thing. So in its frill, it has 2 very large openings right above its eyes up in the frill. You see,
Pointless.
a lot of ceratopsians have that. But the reason they have it is actually to make their skull a little bit lighter and easier for them to lift. So that way they don't break their necks every time they look up.
Yeah, but
that's-
Triceratops didn't have it, though.
No, because Triceratops is a lot stockier and more muscular. These guys are a little bit more lightly built.
They were
and-
lazier.
No, they were weaklings.
Yeah,
They just didn't.
lazy.
They didn't lift.
Tomato.
No, Charlie, it's tomato. Okay, look. No, I'm gonna stop you right there. Okay, look. Can we just strike that from our vocabulary as a culture? Oh, tomato, man. Okay, no.
He said tomato, tomato.
Whatever.
Tomato, tomato.
No human being actually says tomato. Okay, like if you've ever met someone who says tomato, stop talking to them because their opinion doesn't matter. Okay, so.
Get me a corn tortilla. Take
Oh, you're joking, but I knew this kid growing up. Always, like we would go to like Taco Bell or Don Pablo's. God, I hated that place. But he would always do
Don
like
Pablo?
it was horrible.
Okay,
it was
cool.
horrible Mexican place that my dad loved so much. So growing up, we ate there like 2 or 3 times a week, and it was just the worst. But every time we'd go with this one friend of mine, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'll have some tortillas," and I'm like, "Shut your mouth."
My
Did
dad
he do
says
it
that.
like joking?
No, he actually believed that that's how they were pronounced, and
Take a class in Spanish.
people need to go back to school. But anyway, Chasmosaurus. So anyway, that, Charlie, is why ceratopsians had holes in their frills. Some
feel
of
like-
them did anyway.
Easier to puncture though with teeth and stuff, but I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, you
but
see,
yeah.
the
there.
smaller ones like Chasmosaurus didn't live at the same time as the big tyrannosaurs like T-Rex. So I don't think they wouldn't have had to have combated the more heavy artillery tyrannosaurs like T-Rex.
T-Rex sound like artillery guns back. I love it.
Yeah, T-Rex.
Bertha.
Like, if I make quotes a meme that's popular right now, Velociraptor is the level 1 crook, T-Rex is the level 100 boss.
God, I hate that meme.
I hate it too. Big Chungus was better. We love you,
It's
Chungus.
gone too soon.
All
We
right.
love you,
R.I.P..
Chungus.
R.I.P.
This one goes out to Chungus. But
Don't
anyway,
you?
forget about
about me.
Chungus. But anyway, the weird thing about Chasmosaurus, though, is that compared to other ceratopsians, its horns are pretty small compared to the rest of its body. They're only about 1 foot long each, which that's led some scientists to believe that they were meant for more up-close combat and like more ramming things like Pachyrhinosaurus as opposed to like Triceratops. Oh, excuse me.
Oh my God.
I had a hiccup, but it came out as a burp. So
love it.
anyway, Kirsten's getting muted. But anyway, so
Thanks, Charlie.
Hey.
So,
I wasn't
anyway.
expecting that. I'm sorry.
sorry, you're muted. But anyway, Chasmosaurus was probably meant more for close combat than the Pachyrhinosaurus was. So that's that. But anyway,
Thank
are you going to be good boys and girls?
Yeah. Sorry, it was just really funny. He was just
Okay.
out of nowhere.
I didn't laugh at all.
I warned you that the Chick-fil-A I ate earlier today
I know.
was not agreeing with me. But I thought it was going to be a hiccup, and it came out as a burp.
Yeah,
Group
I was.
punishment is against the
That's
Geneva
like-
Convention.
That's like the person who tried to stealthily fart in class and ended up making a mess in their pants. We all know that kid.
Oh God!
But-
Don't
I thought you
call
were
me
gonna
out
say-
like that.
But anyway, so our next one here, this is a pretty cool name, Diabloceratops.
It's Diablo,
This name
and I love it.
is a good name. The
Yes.
Diabloceratops.
the
Like, this is like
devil-horned
A
face.
dinosaur movie. Like if you see Diabloceratops, walk in, that's the villain, and you're scared of him.
Sharp Tooth Who? Talking about El Diabloceratops.
El Diabloceratops.
He's an El dinosaur.
It's a good attention to detail. It's good attention to
Or
detail.
La.
But anyway, yeah, the
Yeah,
devil-horned face. That's Diabloceratops. Pretty on-the-nose name, but most...
What?
Diablo?
Diablo? Diablo.
Di-
Diabolo? Diabololo. I'm not sorry.
Are
Sorry.
you okay?
yeah.
confused.
But anyway,
Confused.
Diabloceratops actually rode unicycles and ate pixie sticks all day because, that's just what dinosaurs do. And need I remind you that this picture right here is 100% what they looked like. And that's why they went extinct, because, you see, they were bright orange. They were dreamsicle colored in a world that was actually chartreuse was the color of the dinosaur.
Billy, who hurt you? Are you okay?
Everyone.
I'm sorry, we're more goofier this season.
He's saying Diablo, and I'm like, Diablo, and he knows he's triggering.
Okay, whatever. We're going to call him Devil Boy, okay? So anyway.
Why aren't they German named dinosaurs? Never mind, at some point. Carry on.
But anyway, Devil Boy was a pretty big ceratopsian, coming in at 18 feet long. So, not the biggest, but bigger than Chasmosaurus and Cosmoceratops. It has the same holes in its skull that Chasmosaurus does, likely to lift up its head more easily, just like Chasmosaurus. But anyway, it gets its name because of the two horns that are at the top of its frill that look a little more devilish, so to speak. So anyway, it's meant to, these are pretty clearly meant for extra defense from above and from the side from predators. Not like the Cosmoceratops, whose frill was just weird. So...
Why do you hate that?
I don't hate it. It just looks weird.
Should have been the thing in the garden. No, that's not... Sorry. Most religious on there, but I'm not going to do that. Sorry.
All right.
I was gonna say this has been the thing in the Garden of Eden, the serpent thing, but it's like a Diabloceratops.
But it eats plants, Charlie. It's not as scary as a snake.
Snakes are scary. Let's imagine like Adam, Eve, giant Triceratops, like thing right there.
That crawls down the tree.
It was the Spider-Man.
The branches just break off.
Spider-Ceratops is a menace. You've been trying to get me to do my Jameson
Ladies and gentlemen,
voice
we got him.
You've been trying to get me to do that Jameson voice the entire time.
I love it.
It's good. It's really. It has my approval. It's a really good voice. Really
that is not a menace. It's a benefit to society.
Spider-Ceratops is a menace. Let us take a call. And,
hello.
Okay, please, sir, tell us on the doll where Spider-Man touched you.
I don't feel comfortable with this. This took a dark turn really fast.
Please read my new book, Spider-Ceratops, Threat or Menace. Okay, no more Jameson voice. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that ever again. Okay?
Ever.
As far as you know.
Oh.
I'm canceling this show.
No!
Charlie's gonna cry. Are you okay?
Nobody knows. I'm sorry. Focus up here, Kirsten. Diabloceratops.
So anyway, in addition to its devil horns on its frill, it also had two more normal-looking ceratopsian horns over its eyes, and a little tiny one that was pretty non-existent right above its nose. So the ones above its eyes were probably meant to be its primary line of defense, as well as the two on its head for more gutsy tyrannosaurs that wanted to come in and take a bite out of it. So anyway, fossilized sediments where this thing was found, though, this is pretty interesting. These suggest that Diabloceratops would have lived in a more swampy environment per se. So where Pachyrhinosaurus lived out in the tundra out in the Arctic, this thing lived in the bayou. I tell you what, man. Listen, this right here, this is a good old-fashioned homegrown Diabloceratops right here. Like this thing, I mean, it's a regular law-abiding American citizen living out there on the swamp with the old Brandine. Like I would ride one of these things when I go out to kill flying possums. NASCAR.
That was good.
Bud Light.
Yeah, that was good.
Lotto tickets.
Yep.
Dukes of Hazzard reruns.
Oh, that's good. That was a good one.
Man, Thanos was right.
Oh, I love Yee. Yeah,
Yee.
Anyway.
Back-to-back undefeated World War champs. Yeah. Sorry.
So, Diabloceratops was fun. So, anyway, next one here. Okay, next one we got here is called Zuniceratops. So, this is a name that means, it's pretty basic, Zuni horned face. It's named for the Zuni Native American tribe from out in the American Southwest where this thing was found.
I'm actually not that disappointed about it.
I like it.
Yeah,
not
I like the word
not
Zuni.
bad.
It's nice. It's a nice word.
So this was a pretty early ceratopsian from the early Cretaceous period. And as such, it was pretty small, only about 11 feet long and only weighed about 200 pounds. So, tweet at us if you weigh more than
200
Zuni
pounds?
ceratops.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not very big.
11 feet long, 200 pounds?
Like,
That's a
I'm almost
like
200 pounds, but like...
like a little dash hand, like a little wiener dog.
What kind of wiener dog do you have that's
Like,
11 feet long and 200 pounds?
No, I just need a
Oh, Jason's house is like a huge, like, small dog. Like, it's a Clifford.
So you laugh at me.
It's a Clifford
You
wiener
laugh at
dog.
me for accidentally letting a burp out, but you're over here.
Kirsten, you Kirstened it.
Like,
No, I just mean like the proportion, like the ratio of like.
Yeah?
Kirsten, you're fired.
Oh, she's got a point there. Like, it's just like...
Did you not hear me?
Yeah.
She's fired.
It's like 2 of me long, but like it's only like 200 pounds. It's like all my length,
Maybe
but
it's-
also same width.
Well, maybe it was made of styrofoam. I don't know.
I don't know. Not a
But-
flap, not enough ab.
Yeah. Gotta work out.
It was old armor abs crabs. That's
Oh, good
deep
reference.
cut. Yeah,
It's
that's a
one.
good SpongeBob episode
That is a
right
good
there.
one. That was
quality.
traumatizing for me as a kid. But,
Oh,
you know.
come on.
Yeah.
I was
You
like
don't,
5.
You don't know traumatizing until you've seen the Splinter episode of SpongeBob.
Oh, I can't.
Oh, I was thinking
God.
Splinter from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was
No. What did he ever do?
The rat.
Like, that. Just don't.
Don't get us started.
No, the episode of SpongeBob where he gets a splinter. That'll keep you
That's
up at night.
disgusting.
That's true. That was really gross.
But anyway, Zuni ceratops didn't have to be very big because it didn't really share its environment with any tyrannosaurs. Its primary adversaries, per se, would have been raptors. So it would have had to more so deal with those than it would have the bigger carnivores. So
I'm assuming it was found near the Zuni tribe. It's probably near Utah raptor then. That'd be like kind of intimidating for it, I guess.
yeah, I suppose. But nothing it probably couldn't handle. I mean, Utah raptor would have been a little bit bigger than this thing, but it still has 2 horns over its eyes. Does not have a horn on its nose, though, like other ceratopsians.
I think it
so
looks
that's
pretty cool.
distinctive.
Like
But
where the
anyway,
horns are.
Its skeletal structure indicates that this thing would have been the missing evolutionary link between the smaller ceratopsians and the larger ones.
Oh, okay.
I see.
So this is the great connector between Protoceratops and the mighty Triceratops.
Gotcha. Okay.
And just like all of these guys, the fossil evidence suggests herd behavior. So these things in a herd would have been pretty scary to even the biggest group of raptors.
It's a lightweight though.
Well, yeah, it's a lightweight, but we see that today with modern animals, like out in Africa, or even here in the Americas. You know, like big herds of buffalo and elk will scare away wolves.
You don't mess
Yeah.
around with
So-
buffalo. Like, there's a reason they were not domesticated. Like,
Buffaloes are wild.
Well, and speaking of buffaloes, our next dinosaur here, the
hey, that's a good segue right there.
see,
I didn't mean
it
to do
ruins
that.
it when you have to come out and be like, "Oh, that's a good segue." I'm Kirsten, and I talk like this now.
Ah, man.
Fun fact: when I was a kid, I thought chocolate milk came from buffaloes.
No, that's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
You're right. It's not like dinosaurs eating snow and stuff, but like, hey,
You won't leave me alone.
no.
It's one thing that will never be let go.
I wrote a song for it too, but that's for another
You know,
day.
when I was a kid, there was this house in my neighborhood that always put Christmas lights up in their backyard, and my parents told me that's where Santa's workshop was, and I bought it.
Sounds like me.
It's a confession.
Want
You're
to
right,
know,
Kristen.
wanna know a really sad
Yeah.
thing? When I was 2, my mom told me that my 2 goldfish, Flipper and Flounder, ran away. And I bought it.
Sorry, not this.
Still waiting for him to come back.
We went to a farm up north.
No, I think she specifically told me that they went home to be with their moms.
That's rough.
Which, I mean, goldfish don't live very long as it is, so that probably wasn't too far from the truth.
Yeah.
But anyway, our next dinosaur here is the Ionosaurus. This is a ceratopsian whose name means a buffalo lizard.
I like Ionosaurus. That's cool.
Could have been
Okay.
better.
Well, the
Should've liked
name
the
the name
Tonkasaurus.
comes from a Native American word. I think Aini, which means buffalo or bison.
okay.
So
Sounds like the Tonka, something like that. You ever seen Dances with Wolves? To me, they call them buffalo, but they call them the Tonka in that movie. Which, well, there's different buffalo tribes. But never mind.
Okay.
The American
But
tribes.
anyway, Ionosaurus was a little bit bigger than Zuniceratops, coming in at 13 feet long and weighing about a ton.
Okay.
So this thing had 2 big sharp horns on top of its frill, which were pretty obviously used for defense from attacks from above. But the weird thing is, it only had 1 horn on its face, and weirdest thing in the world. This thing faced downwards, and it was a really big, thick horn too. It wasn't like a little tiny one. So there was this giant horn on its face that
Maybe
faced
he, like,
downwards. It looks like
dug holes.
No, like this thing looks.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
This thing looks like Gonzo from the Muppets. Is what this thing looks like to me.
This season, I'm the one who's getting fired.
Honestly,
apparently.
it's not a bad theory, I think. Like,
I think it just looks like Gonzo from the Muppets.
valid. Maybe it's like
They went extinct because they shot themselves out of a cannon.
a
too
juvenile Pachyrhinosaurus, like.
much. I doubt
As it got
that.
older, like the horn like kind of
Well,
like
we actually have fossils of juvenile Pachyrhinosaurus.
Oh, never mind then. That's all good.
Yeah, they just look like little versions of the adults.
There's a lot of theories about that, like a lot of
Oh yeah,
ceratopsians.
we're gonna be
It's just a
talking
juvenile.
about we're gonna talk about that one more next week with the Tyrannosaur episode because that's way more of a prevalent issue in the Tyrannosaur side of things, the right side of history, as I like to call it. But anyway,
God.
so most scientists believe that Ionosaurus would have just rammed its attackers like Pachyrhinosaurus and that other thing.
With
we
what?
talked about, with its giant horn.
Horn on
It
its-
couldn't
Yeah,
really
I see- it's
stab.
right there.
It couldn't.
I know that, but like that doesn't. Look
Well, we
like-
already established it's meant to dig holes. Like, oh my god.
Exactly. I'm sticking to that one. That one's true. I'm sticking to
Can you
that.
turn it off again?
Done.
Thank you.
Charlie, but you're on my side.
I can turn it back on now.
As you wish.
I'm really
Look at
sad.
me. I'm the captain now.
I'm really sad.
But anyway, our last boy for tonight. This is a really good one here. The Titanoceratops.
I love this. Right off the bat, I love
Yeah?
this. Yeah, I love it. I already love it.
Well, it's one of the biggest ceratopsian species. The name means Titanic horned face.
Love it.
So, this thing comes in at 22 feet long, 8 tons. Its skull is 8 feet long, and its horns are about 5 feet long each. So this thing would have only been a couple of notches below Triceratops.
This thing looks like a warrior.
Unsinkable.
Until it hit the Icebergosaurus.
Iceberger.
Then the
Iceberger.
what's his face?
The
The
Capriosaurus.
Leonardosaurus. The Leonardosaurus was all like, "Don't let go," and she's like, "I'll never let go," and then she lets him go, and he's just like, I meant never let go of me, you stupid."
Thinking Boba Fett on that Dorosaurus.
Can we all stop pretending that
Dinosaurs.
Titanic is a good movie? Like, good lord,
I never liked it.
movie's not good.
I see what people like. It's got some good qualities to it.
Until the end.
The ending is the best part movie when everything goes downhill.
Spoiler
It goes
alert.
from 0 to 100 real quick.
I'm gonna
as that
spoil
rap song
Titanic
says.
for you.
If
Okay,
they haven't watched
The ship
Titanic yet,
sinks.
there's something. If
You
don't
ruined
know,
the joke. Okay.
If you haven't watched Titanic yet, spoiler alert, the ship sinks, guys.
So anyway, because Titanoceratops had such a big, tall frill, it had the frill holes just like Chasmosaurus. But a weird thing about this thing compared to others is that for such a big ceratopsian, unlike the other ceratopsians that we've talked about, this thing was bigger than most of the predators in its ecosystem. Even the tyrannosaurs around this thing were a little bit smaller and definitely a lot less muscular.
What a unit.
So most predators would have kept their distance. So Titanoceratops was a true Aussie battler.
I mean, it makes sense though, 'cause
Crikey.
it doesn't really have any horns that look like it's purely for self-defense.
I mean, the two over its eyebrows
I
look
was
like
too
they could
intimidated
have
by it.
something.
Two.
You,
Is there one or two?
That's from the
Oh my
side.
No.
There's 2, 3
You
horns.
can't see
Titanosaurus could also, Titanoceratops could also just turn sideways and disappear because he's flat apparently. Just paper thin.
Well, oh my God, Charlie! Like its head totally looks like a Pringle. Like totally OMG.
Oh my god.
I'd eat it. I don't know. I'm sorry. It had to be done.
So anyway, Titanoceratops is a pretty good ceratopsian.
This one's my favorite.
Definitely a good one.
How in size does he compare to Triceratops?
It's only a little bit smaller than Triceratops. Like I think they would have stood about eye to eye, but Triceratops is a little bit longer and a few tons heavier.
Do you think it could beat it in a fight possibly? Mini fight night, just
I doubt it. Triceratops is a lot more heavily built, and its horns were a lot longer and way more meant to stab things.
And I feel like Triceratops had a lot more predators to deal with than this thing. It was the biggest in its whole
Triceratops
territory.
had T-Rex in its ecosystem. This thing would have had Tyrannosaurs, but they would have been smaller ones. So, I mean, I don't know.
minis.
Herbivores don't fight that often, but hypothetically, if they did, you never know. But anyway, as cool as ceratopsians are, next week we're going to be talking all about the tyrannosaurs, which are the other family of dinosaurs that really rose to prominence during the Cretaceous.
Oh, yeah.
These were the mortal enemies of the ceratopsians throughout their entire run. So please come back next Thursday at 6 for that.
Please. Mm-hmm. Please do. And tell us if that, the Ice Age versus, Ice Age mammals
The
versus...
Ice Age versus dinosaurs.
We're doing that regardless.
Well, they need to let us know.
Pitch your
if they
Ice
have
Age
any...
dinosaur fight picks. to
Yeah.
us. How's that sound? Good?
Yeah.
No?
Crowd interaction, Billy.
So anyway,
Make us a subreddit
please-
while you're at it.
Please let us know if you have any that you want us to talk about for that episode, because that's going to be a fun one whenever we get around to it.
I had a good idea for once.
Hey, Charlie, we appreciate you.
We're talking dire wolves. Not like Game of Thrones dire wolves, but like
the
actual
real
dire
ones.
wolves.
Yeah, the real. Fun fact, dire wolves were discovered here in Indiana.
Like right now?
Actually, just up the road from us in Evansville.
Oh,
was where
wow.
the
Up the
first one
road,
was.
3 hours away. That's fine.
It's like 2 hours away.
What was it doing there?
I don't know. There's not really much in Evansville. So.
It's impressive they found a fossil like that, because like you can't find fossils
a
of
lot of,
dinosaurs in Indiana because we're not old enough. But like
a lot of Ice Age fossils preserved here. But a lot of Devonian and Ice Age fossils are the only things that preserved here. For whatever reason, dinosaurs just didn't like
we
our
just missed
soil.
it because
Okay.
Devonian came after No,
No,
it
Devonian came
before.
way before the dinosaurs.
But we didn't get any fossils from the Triassic, because like the little shallow sea thing that was going on.
Well, by the time the Cretaceous and the Jurassic rolled around, we were pretty visible, but fossils just don't like to preserve here from the Mesozoic for whatever reason.
It's valid.
So it's a weird limbo that we're in here. Like, we know there had to have been dinosaurs here, but for whatever reason, they just didn't preserve.
Just didn't fossilize. It's a
So
shame.
anyway,
That was a good call.
our dinosaur versus Ice Age episode is going to be a fun time. So please come back for that one whenever we get around to it. So anyway, thank you guys very much for listening. Please, as always, follow us on social media. We are at Let's Talk Dinos on Twitter and at Let's Talk Dinosaurs on Instagram. Please follow our Instagram. We don't get a lot of love on there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, please do
Need more
that.
followers.
please
And
do.
Charlie, would you like to plug your show?
Oh, okay. If y'all like the Let's Talk Dinosaurs and want a little bit more goofiness, you can come on over to Saturdays at 11 a.m. and listen to Heroes on the Horizon, where we'll talk about comic books and superheroes and things like that. This week's episode, we're bringing in the fancy new Super Blood Wolf Moon that's going to go on. You hear about that? There's like a special lunar eclipse called a Super Blood Wolf Moon that's happening. I don't know the whole specs of it.
Oh, that's terrifying. I need to go buy some silver bullets.
Right? It's a Super Blood Wolf Moon. And so to do the episode, we're doing this character called Moon Knight, which is kind of obscure, but he's kind of like Marvel's Batman, but he's not. And he's also crazy. So it's
Okay.
going to be a fun episode and a lot of like weird, like, the 70s were weird, man.
Isn't Moon Knight's backstory kind of all over the place?
He has 3 separate secret identities.
Also, his show is at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you live in a different time zone.
And you can follow us on Twitter at @_heroes or Instagram at heroes_on_the_horizon. A lot of underscores.
All right.
Just follow us
So yes,
everywhere.
please give Charlie a follow. We all love Charlie.
I love Charlie.
Everybody loves Charlie.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Anywho, curious about your radio show.
But Billy.
Please totally follow my show where we're gonna talk about all the totally snow recipes and please follow my show so we can talk about how Spider-Man is a menace. I want that wall-crawling arachnid found and prosecuted.
His face gets red when he does that. You all can't see it, but it does happen.
Force
You did that for a whole episode.
Force
It'd
yourself
probably,
to get that
explode.
worked up and tell me your face doesn't get a little red.
I can't because my head will explode.
Want to try it? I want pictures of Spider-Man, gosh darn it! Parker!
And please pick up my new book, Spider-Man: Threat or Menace. And as always, I was gonna try to do the outro in the Jameson voice, but I don't think I can do, because I think if I do the Jameson voice too much without mentioning Spider-Man, it just turns into Hulk Hogan. So
Brother Spider-Man!
but anyway, thank you guys very much for listening. As always, I am Billy Reed.